Our story begins in Hollow Bastion. Riku is running through the halls, after losing both the Keyblade he was supposed to wield, and losing to Sora immediately after. He stops after hearing a voice. It is Ansem, telling him why he lost the Keyblade. He then tells him that he has the chance to be stronger than before, only by opening himself to darkness. Riku begins to glow with green flames, as Ansem merges with him. Riku's dark suit comes back, as he begins examining his new power.
This feels incredible.
Soon he meets up with Maleficent, who is examining the incomplete keyhole. Riku summons the Keyblade of People's Hearts, yet it does not unlock the keyhole, the two deducing that Kairi's missing heart is the issue. They hear Sora's group getting closer, and Maleficent goes to slow them down a bit, while Riku protects the keyhole. But after a quick battle, Maleficent retreats to an inner chamber within the castle, and Riku shows up, asking if she needs any assistance. Sora, Donald, Goofy, and the Beast soon arrive in the inner chamber, and shocked to see that Riku has his own Keyblade now. Riku explains that his Keyblade holds the power to unlock people's hearts, more so he can set free the darkness within that heart, letting the person use their darkness to its full potential. He demonstrates by unlocking Maleficent's heart, setting her darkness free, and making her power up into her dragon form. Riku retreats back to the keyhole for now, as Maleficent battles Sora and the group again. After a tough fight, Sora and the gang emerge victorious, and begin making their way towards the keyhole and to Riku, with the Beast staying behind to watch the rear. Once they arrive, Riku sets up a force field around the area, Goofy getting knocked out when hitting it face first, Sora and Donald barely making it inside. Sora spots Kairi unconscious on the ground and tries to wake her. Riku, watching from above, tells Sora why Kairi won't wake up, as her heart is missing, and he knows where it is. He points his Keyblade at Sora, knocking him to the ground in pain, as Kairi's heart starts to react. Sora now knows someone is in control of Riku, and asks who he is, Riku stating that he is Ansem the Seeker of Darkness. Donald becomes furious and charges at Riku, but he gets smacked outside the force field for his trouble. Riku then stands over Sora, who is still in pain, and begins to monologue about setting Kairi's heart free and completing the keyhole. As Riku slashes down, Sora snaps back to reality, and quickly summons his Keyblade, blocking the attack. He manages to push Riku back, and prepares to fight his now possessed friend without help. A long battle ensues, but Sora emerges the victor. Riku looks down at his hand, the power slowly fading from him.
No, I won't lose. Not again.
Quickly turning the Keyblade on himself, he stabs his chest with the tip. Ansem begins to shout within Riku's mind.
What are you doing?
What you are too afraid to do, old man.
Riku screams as he powers up, completely taking control of his body again, and managing to suppress Ansem within his heart. Sora watches as his former friend completely gives into the darkness, a powerful aura of green flame slowly changing to dark purples and blues, and black veins start to emerge from under the neck of his bodysuit, slowly creeping up his neck and onto the lower half of his face. He closes his eyes as the powering up begins to finish, the aura stabilizing, and finally opening his eyes to show they have changed into a deep crimson color. Riku looks over at Sora, asking,
Do you like the new me?
Sora pleads to his corrupt friend, asking him to stop and just come back with him and Kairi, but Riku is now beyond words. Riku raises his Keyblade threateningly, Sora taking his battle stance, and the two charge at each other, clashing their Keyblades. A long and heartfelt battle takes place, each Keyblade wielder throwing all their power into the fight, but ultimately, one side tips the scale. With a powerful swing, Riku knocks the Kingdom Key from Sora's hand, and flips it back into Sora's chest. Sora gasps as he feels the Keyblade hit his heart, and soon he closes his eyes, as not just his heart releases from his body, but two more that shine with pure light.
3? Who else's heart was there?
Riku quickly reaches towards one of the pure hearts of light, unsure if he is grabbing Kairi's or the unknown heart. With the pure heart in his hand, he combines it with a Keyblade of heart, powering it up, giving it some purple accents, and a keychain. The key was complete. The other pure heart flies towards Sora's heart, pushing it and itself into Kairi's body. Kairi's eyes soon open, and she gets up to see Sora's body and Keyblade fade from existence, Riku standing where his body once stood. Riku realizes he grabbed the mystery heart, and begins to charge Kairi in an impulsive instinct of rage. Kairi's necklace begins to glow, and soon the glow envelops her whole body as she quickly disappears, Riku's Keyblade hitting the ground where Kairi once stood. Donald and Goofy, after regaining consciousness and seeing the whole ordeal, quietly leave, making sure they do not alert Riku to themselves. Donald and Goofy regroup with the beast and explained what happened, and their plan to leave quickly as the situation has gotten quite out of hand, and they need a new plan. They all agree to head to Yen Sid's tower and see what he can make of the situation. The small ball of light shoots through the lanes between, but then it seems to be drawn to what looks like a black hole. This is a location known as the end of the world, and despite being a dark place, filled with dangers, the ball of light presses on. It flies as fast as it can through the danger, finally slowing down in the remnants of the Destiny Islands. The ball goes through the wreckage, making its way towards the secret place, and upon reaching the mysterious wooden door held within, the ball of light stops, and finds two people inside, about to open the door. It is Aqua and Mickey. The two are confused about the ball of light in front of them. It soon reverts its form back to Kairi, the two now shocked to see her again. Kairi looks confused at the two, wondering what happened, Aqua quickly examining her, and noticing the spell she had placed on her years ago was still working and brought her to them. Aqua is now extremely happy to see Kairi again, but Kairi does not remember Aqua, much to her dismay. Mickey steps up and asks about Sora, Donald, Goofy, but Kairi is saddened when she retells the story. Aqua is completely devastated when she hears about what happened with Sora and Riku, thinking back to when she met the same boys on the islands years ago, and deciding not to pass her Keyblade to Sora. She then thinks to herself, what if I did pass that power to Sora, could this have been prevented? Mickey reminds her that they are here for the Keyblade, and after they get it, they can try to head back, and formulate another plan. Passing through the door, they find the Keyblade on the other side. Its colors are a reverse of Sora's Kingdom Key. Mickey grabs the Keyblade, saying they have a key from the Realm of Darkness now, but they still need to have the key from the Realm of Light on the other side of the door, in order to close the door to darkness. When Aqua asks if she can do it, Mickey declines, stating that it has to be the mirror of this key to help close it, he says while holding his new Keyblade. Kairi grabs her chest and thinks of Sora. The last thing she saw was him fading in front of her. Aqua notices the sad expression on Kairi's face. Crouching down, she comforts her, saying they will find a way to get Sora back, and find a way to fix Riku. Kairi looks at her with tears still in her eyes, and nods. Mickey points his new Keyblade, and begins focusing, Aqua asking what he is doing. Mickey explains that with their normal Keyblades, they can open portals into the lanes between, so maybe a Keyblade of Darkness can open a portal to get out of the Realm of Darkness. Aqua agrees with this theory, and kneels beside Mickey, grabbing a part of the Keyblade and focusing with him, putting their whole hearts into it. Darkness swirls in front of them, and an oval-shaped mass of darkness forms and stabilizes. They have opened the portal. Mickey stands ready, while Aqua reaches for Kairi's hand, holding it and promising to not let her go when they go through the portal. They take their first steps in. The dark corridor is cold and feels unwelcoming, yet they continue to press on, hoping that the world they find on the other side is safe. After a few more steps of struggling through the darkness, they arrive in a new world. The atmosphere there is calming, warm, welcoming even, as if the soothing tones of light just permeated throughout the very air. This is Traverse Town. The three examine the world, Mickey stating it is the same world where he found the portal to get into the Realm of Darkness to begin with. Aqua states how peaceful the world is, but they do not have time to enjoy it. They need to get to Master Yen Sid, Mickey saying he has a friend here who could help. They travel through the 3rd district and find a door with a flame on it, Mickey casting a small flame and hitting the door, allowing the door to open the way. They walk in and head towards the magician's study, which is far below the street level, and across a small body of water. Once they reach the small house on the tiny island, they go inside and see Merlin the wizard. Merlin is extremely delighted to see them, more so Aqua and Mickey, and shouts at someone else to come and greet their guests. With a couple of sparkles and a flash of light, the fairy godmother appears before the group, Aqua expressing great joy upon seeing an old friend, with fairy godmother returning the expression. Mickey explains the situation and asks the two if they would join them on having a meeting with Master Yen Sid. The two looked at each other with a worried expression upon hearing the tale, but agreed to go. Aqua personally goes up to Fairy Godmother and expresses condolences, because while she was wandering the realm of darkness, she came across the Castle of Dreams in its ruined state. Fairy Godmother states that she is not worried, and that she believes in her heart that her world and all of the inhabitants from it will return. Aqua nods in agreement, before approaching Merlin with the rest of the group and vanishing in a puff of smoke. Meanwhile, back in Hollow Bastion, Riku is seething with rage. He stares at his Keyblade, even more anger building at the thought of the mystery heart completing it. He throws it to the ground with all his strength, screaming in rage, and a black aura igniting around him like a fire doused with gasoline. The Heartless scurry off, frightened by their master's rage. Riku stops for a moment and goes to pick up the Keyblade before he is distracted by the sound of footsteps. He sees a cloaked man approaching him from down the hall. Riku picks up his Keyblade and points it at the stranger.
Are you another old fool here to promise me more power? 'Cause the last one can't even get a whisper out now.
Ah, I see. Ansem has been smothered by the darkness within you. Unfortunately, I will not share the same fate, as I do not promise power, but perhaps a temporary alliance.
Riku stares at the figure, analyzing for any form of deceit, but the figure remains calm. He explains that his name is Xemnas, and he is the leader of a group known as Organization 13, and they wish to have hearts, as they are beings without hearts known as nobodies. Riku laughs at Xemnas, calling him an empty husk, but Xemnas is indifferent to the mocking by the young boy. Xemnas says that they have minds unlike the heartless or lesser nobodies, and they could prove as useful allies. All they wish is to use the power of Kingdom Hearts, that Riku has access to thanks to the completed Keyblade and Keyhole. Xemnas asks Riku to name his price and it shall be done. Riku thinks for a moment, before stating that this power is his and his alone, and he will destroy him and his organization.
So you have chosen oblivion.
Xemnas reaches out towards Riku, black and white vines emerging from his hand, but Riku dodges quickly, charging Xemnas, and attacking with ferocity. Xemnas is put on the defense as he ignites his ethereal blades, blocking each attack, and being pushed backwards. Riku jumps in the air and slashes down at Xemnas, who blocks with both his blades, but Riku pushes through, making the blades disperse. Xemnas takes another step back as the blade of the key misses him by an inch, and landing on the ground in front of him, Riku landing at his feet. Looking down, he notices Riku's hand embedded in a shadowy mass on the ground, before said mass trails underneath him, erupting into a cage of claws that snap onto Xemnas like a bear trap. Riku points the Keyblade at Xemnas and fires a dark version of Sora's last ray attack at Xemnas. Xemnas, who is helpless in the cage, watches in horror as the beam fires directly at him and then through him. Xemnas screams in anguish as his body begins to ripple and fade from existence. Riku chuckles at his victory, turning towards the keyhole and thinking to himself,
Kingdom Hearts. You're going to be a problem being such a prize. Time to eliminate the competition.
Riku opens a corridor of darkness and steps through, Keyblade held tightly in his hand. Meanwhile, at the mysterious tower, Yensid, Merlin, the fairy godmother, and the good fairies, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, are all discussing the current situation. While they are having their meeting, Kairi approaches Aqua, asking if she can do anything to help bring Sora back. Aqua kneels down, asking if there is anything she can remember about Sora's disappearance, but Kairi only states what she saw when she woke up. Donald and Goofy step up, and say they saw what happened right before Sora vanished. Kairi and Aqua quickly turning to hear what they have to say. Donald and Goofy explain about the release of hearts, Sora's body not just containing his and Kairi's, but a third mystery heart as well. Riku used this mystery heart to finish the Keyblade, and the two other hearts went into Kairi's body, the brighter one pushing the dim one. Aqua asked if the third heart shined brightly or dim, Donald and Goofy agreeing it was as bright as Kairi's heart, suggesting it was a pure light. Aqua seems confused about the concept of multiple purified hearts being used to form a Keyblade, when the last time she saw hearts being used like this, it was a pure light and pure dark to form the Keyblade. For anyone confused, this is a Keyblade, and this is the Keyblade. Yes, it is also called the Keyblade, but to differentiate between the two for simplicity's sake, I will be following Xehanort's wording on the Greek letter X.
Key, a most ancient word. Some say Kai, but the meaning is the same.
Got that sorted? Good. Just another note, I will break the fourth wall sparingly, mainly to explain something in further detail or to show off a memory from the main timeline like I just did. So sorry to any viewers in advance if this annoys them. Back to the story. Yen Sid interrupts their conversation, the meeting between the wizards having just concluded, and takes a moment to explain the Keyblade of people's hearts. He goes into detail, stating that 7 pure light hearts are needed to forge it, and Ansem's plan to forge it was to use the 7 princesses of heart for ease of access, but got stuck when Kairi's heart took refuge inside Sora. Yen Sid's expression turns dour, as he theorizes on who the mystery heart could have belonged to. Before he could say the name, Aqua slumps to the floor, tears welling up as she says the name. Ventus. Everyone's expression turns sad, as they seem to reach the same conclusion in their own heads. Mickey pondering why Ven was hiding in Sora's heart, and when he took refuge. Yen Sid asks Aqua if she is able to use the power of waking, and she confirms that she does, Yen Sid asking her to dive into Kairi's heart to see if she is able to wake and restore Sora. Aqua nods and asks Kairi to stand still, raising her Keyblade and pointing it at her heart, before a bright flash of light appears, Aqua transforming into a ball of light herself and entering Kairi's heart. Aqua dives into her heart, eventually reaching her station, and floating right above it. The station is pink, with an image of Kairi off to the side, and in the inner circles, images of Sora, Riku, Kairi's grandmother, and another figure who is blurry is seen. Aqua looks at the blurry image, thinking how the silhouette looks a bit like her, but then looks at the image of Sora, which is glowing with light. She points her Keyblade at the image, but the glow on the image flickers for a moment, Aqua asking why, only for Sora's voice to gently piercing through the darkness, saying he needs to rest right now as he is hurting from both losing Riku to the darkness and the forced extraction of the hearts. Aqua lowers her Keyblade and somberly agrees to let him rest. Sora reaches out again, saying that Kairi has the power to use his Keyblade if the need arises, as he notices when he arrived here that she has had the power to wield one for a while. Aqua states that she might have been the reason why Kairi is able, though admitting that when she met Sora and Riku all those years ago, she considered passing that power onto him. Sora gently chuckles, stating that he does not remember that encounter, but Aqua feels familiar and warm, so he trusts her. Aqua promises to help wake Sora when the time is right, and that she will protect Kairi in his place. Sora thanks her, before going quiet again. Aqua floats up into the darkness, and returns back into the mysterious tower with another flash of light, everyone confused as to why Sora did not return with her. She explains Sora's state and choice, before turning to Kairi, and asking to hold out her hand, Kairi nodding before doing so. Aqua asks her to feel with her heart, feel Sora and his Keyblade, then to call to it. Kairi closes her eyes, as the memory of herself and Sora watching the sunset becomes pictured in her mind. With the flash of light, Sora's Keyblade manifests in her hand, Kairi slowly opening her eyes, and looking at the weapon.
Sora left you his Keyblade while he rests inside your heart. You need to protect him, the same way he protected you. Can you do that for him, Kairi?
Kairi nods, saying she will. Aqua smiles in response to her answer, and the two look over to Yen Sid, who is stroking his beard while in deep thought. He stops and looks directly at Kairi, stating that her training begins now. Riku steps through his dark corridor. Looking at the dark cityscape, he sees a bright white castle in the distance. A stronghold, Riku thought, a bit too bright for his new taste, but it could do. He begins to make his way towards the castle, before he is stopped by a voice yelling at him from a distance. Nearby on a rooftop, an older man with a ponytail, eye patch, and a carefree attitude, tells Riku to be careful heading that way. Riku scowls at the man, telling him to go away or be destroyed. The man tells him that there is a powerful group of people within the castle, and they do not take kindly to strangers. Riku stops, before his appearance seems to go out of focus, and then gone. Riku now stands just a few feet from his new conversationalist friend, the speed in which he moves intriguing the stranger. Riku holds his Keyblade up and says he has defeated the head of this group, so the rest of them shall soon follow, including him.
As if. I've been threatened by Keyblade wielders before. Notice how I'm still alive? It's because I know how to cut a deal. And right now, you probably want to cause the most carnage up there in that big old castle, don't you? Well, I know the best way in. And all I want in return is a job.
Riku glares at the stranger, gripping the Keyblade tighter, before asking,
A job? What could you offer me that isn't worth just striking you down right now?
Information, kiddo. I can get into most places, hear and see things that people want hidden, then leave without a trace. You know, I've seen Xemnas fight, but you had him on edge, then one shot from that Keyblade and it was over for him. So tell me, still think I'm not worth sparing?
Riku's eyes open wider at the realization that his fight with Xemnas had an audience. An audience that went undetected by him. Riku lowers the Keyblade and asks where the best entrance is, while also stating that if this is a trap, he will end the stranger first. The stranger smiles and tells him to get ready to follow him, but they'll need a distraction. Riku says that he will handle it, before raising a hand towards the sky and forcing open a large portal. Thousands of Heartless begin to fall from it and flood the streets like a pitch-black tsunami. The stranger smiles even wider, saying that this will work very well, turning to face Riku, and introducing himself as Xigbar. Castle alarms blare, as the organization members fight off the swarming Heartless as best as they can. Vexen begins to shout at Syax, asking where Lord Xemnas was. Syax states that he does not know, as Xemnas has not been seen since he left for Hollow Bastion. They keep fighting the Heartless, but it seems futile, as the Heartless just keep coming without end. Syax begins to tell Vexen to go back up the computer data, but is cut short as he is struck in the back with an arrow gun shot. He turns to face the direction of his shooter, but is met with a Keyblade in the chest. Syax's body begins to ripple and fade from existence like Xemnas's. Vexen sees this and tries to run, screaming in fear, from the terror of Riku, the betrayal of Xigbar, and the army of unending Heartless. Xigbar shouts at Riku that they have a runner, Riku asking if he would like to take this one, Xigbar thanking him for being so generous. Xigbar lines up the shot at the fleeing Vexen, and the last thing Xigbar sees in his scope before taking the shot is Vexen's terrified face looking back at him. With the rest of the organization members dealt with, Riku and Xigbar look at their new base of operations. Xigbar looks at Riku, asking him what is next on the agenda, Riku smirking and stating,
Go out and search for the last princess. She might be trouble if we don't deal with her soon. As for myself, I will search for more worthy allies and fill our ranks with more Heartless.
Xigbar smiles, before opening a dark corridor and vanishing. Riku is left alone in the castle, staring out across the cityscape, thinking to himself that everything will soon be his. He hears another dark corridor open up, stating that Xigbar is fast, but as he turns he sees